Greetings from Bangkok. We're going to talk about listing the same property multiple different ways to maximize your revenue. Let's jump into it. All right, welcome back, Airbnb family. This is Anthony, and Anthony is actually the first Airbnb host that I'm ever interviewed or going to. I'll interview more, I think, but Anthony's my first. So thank you, Anthony, for being my first.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. So Anthony has a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house.
Yes, sir.
In the west side of Dallas. And how long have you been hosting for?
Just about over a month now.
Okay, cool. So your strategy is one that we talk about on the channel, but I've never done because I don't have any properties that are really big enough. I do have a couple 3-bedrooms, but they're apartments, and we've just never done this strategy. So Anthony's strategy is he lists his entire space on the platform as a whole home for anybody who wants to book like a month, 2-3 months in advance. But then you do private rooms for like last minute bookings, right?
Yes, sir.
So tell me, what those last minute bookings, like how far in advance is the limit when somebody wants to book last minute private room? Like how many days out can they book?
So typically I open them up about a week in advance. I usually do it about Sunday or Monday. And so whatever rooms, I have the rooms linked to the full units calendar. So anytime the full unit is booked, then it blocks off those days for the single units. But anytime any of the property is not booked, then a week in advance, I open those single units out so they can book through that full week up until the next Sunday.
Cool. Yeah. So what you're doing is when you have a full group, you get more money because they get the whole space. And when you get like a last minute booking, you might get like 2 or 3 last minute bookings because you could get 3 reservations on the same day.
Yes, sir.
Right? So how much are you like trying to collect for your 3-bedroom as a whole?
As a whole, for weekday rates, I have it at about $359. Per night, and then on the weekends I have it about $459 per night.
Solid. Okay.
Yeah.
And your weekends are pretty booked, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Congratulate. That's awesome.
Yeah,
congrats.
it.
And so for your private rooms, what are you charging for your private rooms?
So I have one room that's just 1 king bed, and then the other 2 rooms have 2 queen beds. And so I typically have the king bed room for $59 a night, and then the 2 queen beds up for $79 a night each.
Nice. Okay, so you have 5 beds in the place, plus the couch or something like that,
yes,
right?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
couch, futon, and a blow-up air mattress.
Awesome. So you occupy, what, 14, 15?
15.
Yes,
yeah.
Nice. By the way, 15 is the max you can list on Airbnb. So if you can host 17 or 20, people, when they search, it's 15 plus. So you still get the same SEO advantage at 15 as you do on 17, by the way. So how full are your like last-minute bookings? Like, how is that going?
So actually, this whole week, 2 of the rooms are booked for the whole week, and then I'm working on. I had a request for the 3rd room, but they wanted to try to do it through Sunday, which I have the full unit booked on Saturday night, so I can't accommodate that. But trying to give a special offer to get them to book Sunday through Saturday at a lower rate.
Okay, so your weekends are like whole places, booked entire places,
yes.
Pretty healthy.
Yep.
And then your weekdays, you're doing private rooms and getting maybe $150 a night between 2, right?
Yes.
Ish, and then you might even get the 3rd one booked.
Yep.
So your weekdays, you can get like $200 a night. Your weekends, you're getting like $450.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And so are you looking like you're going to be near like 90 or 100% occupied in that? How many nights do you think you're unbooked?
For now, in November, I'm actually unbooked for probably half of the month.
Okay.
So far, just because I haven't opened up those weeks.
So it's like the end of the month, though, like the last 2 weeks that you don't have the private rooms?
So it's actually the next week, and then Thanksgiving, I'm pretty much booked.
Okay.
And then that last week after, just those last couple of days.
So this week, it's one of your rooms. So you're like 2/3 occupied every day this week?
Pretty much, yeah.
So you just have a private room unbooked?
For this week, yes.
Okay, cool. So the way I would do this, guys, if you want to track your occupancy, each room, divide that by 3, right? So if you have one night that is not booked with one room, that's 1/3 of your occupancy, which is 1%. So normally, if you have 31 days on a calendar, then each day represents roughly 3.2% of your occupancy. So if you have one night unbooked, you're at like 96.8% occupancy, right? If you have one night that goes unbooked. If you have 2 nights unbooked, you're a little bit you're right around 94% occupancy, right? 93.6. So with him, each room, each night is like 1% occupancy. ballpark, like 1.08%. So for you, if you have 7 nights unbooked for one of your rooms, but everything else is booked, you'll be at like 92 or 93% occupancy for the month. Yeah. So if you do this strategy, like follow his thing, we've talked about this a lot. I've just never done it myself. So I'm happy he's been my guinea pig. Thank you for that. And it shows that the idea works. You'll get more money as a whole space, right? You got $450 a night for the whole place, where on weekend nights, he would maybe charge $80 to $105 a night for each room. So the max he could get is like $300 to $325 a night on the weekends if he did each as a private room. But he's getting that extra premium from having it as a whole space. So you're maximizing your revenue where you are truly a unique space. And then he's making the rest of his nights more achievable. But you don't want a private room booking next month to influence your ability to get a whole space booking. And since he's only been on the platform for about a month, those large groups of like 14 or 15 that would stay there, those groups book 2 to 3 months out in advance. So you're just not getting weekdays booked as an entire place really yet because you're so new. But you're realistically going to look at like Christmas and January as having some entire groups that might be there on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, which would be a first for you really, except for maybe Thanksgiving, right? The whole place is booked for Thanksgiving?
Pretty much, yep.
Good. Awesome. So thank you very much for your time. If you have any questions for Anthony, this is fun. Put them in the comments. Ignore me. Ask him, because he owns this house. It's been a long time coming. You spent a few months trying to get this place. You had some setbacks. The place flooded, right?
Yep. Yeah, it was rough. But, I had to persevere through it and get everything set up just so I can get this up and running. And I've been waiting for this moment. So yeah, now you're hosting. You're hosting. That's killer. Yeah. So that's one of the downsides. I know Camera Guy almost wanted to shut us off. That's one of the downsides of owning. It kind of, you take the good with the bad. His home flooded. He absorbs 100% of the cost. This is pre-launch costs. He's investing in the home, his furnishings. He actually remodded the place, right? We changed your layout to make it a 3-2, right? Because it was a 4-1. 4-1, yeah.
It was a 4-1. So we made it a 3-2 so that way he could have that extra bathroom. So that way it's easier for private bookings, right? Yeah. So we've been playing with this house a lot. But he's put all this money, and each day that he goes without listing on Airbnb is a day that he sunk his thousands and thousands of dollars without a return on investment. And that's velocity of working capital. Time to market is huge. The faster you get your listing on, the faster you get all your money back.
Oh, yeah.
So I've had the same thing happen with one of my buildings. One of my apartments flooded because the building had a water problem. They moved my lease from one unit to the other, and I just moved my furniture. So rental arbitrage is a little bit more scrappy for that way because you're not stuck holding the bag if something goes wrong. But of course, you make more margin for your one home than I do for my apartments, because now that you're the owner, you get to keep almost all that money minus your interest payments on your mortgage.
Pretty much.
So renting isn't the only way. Owning isn't either. We're going to start doing more like general Airbnb stuff, because I know I talk a lot about rental arbitrage, and there's very little left to tell you about rental arbitrage specifically. We are going to do a future video about subleasing, if what we do really is subleasing. If you are subleasing instead of doing our LLC model, how to handle that, and how to evict people, because I actually had to evict somebody recently. And the legalities of rental arbitrage and eviction will make your head spin. Possibly. So, but anyway, thank you for watching Airbnb Automated, and we will see you on the other side.